Is it? Hey, skadoosh! Oh, it's the bloody mic's picking up me. Fan. Anyway. Right, welcome to Heavyweight Gaming. It's technical term bastardot. So we do apologise if I am extremely lethargic during my descriptions instead of my usual backflipping self. Yeah, we'll go with that. So welcome to the channel. We're an RPG channel. We play lots of tabletop. Our main game is Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. This is our homebrew campaign, Fables Among Titans, and it is a whopping great session. 50, half of 100, 50 mother kippers. So yes, probably the longest amount of sessions I've ever spent on a single campaign, I'd say. And I'm loving it, so thank you very much, players, for sticking with it. Let's go through all the good stuff. We're on social media, things like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. You can follow us and see what we're talking about and not talking about, and the gifts we post and all that good stuff. On the Twitter, I post a lot about when we're going live and what we're creating in the world of Colossus, so if you're interested in that, cool. Facebook, we just use it to shout, come and watch us. We do have a Discord. You can push the button underneath and that should allow you into the Discord server. We use it now and then. We should probably use it more, but you can still get out of us and we respond when you nudge. So if you want to join and see what we're getting up to, that's cool. And that's all the social media stuff. If you want to go to YouTube and watch all the hundreds of hours of stories we've done leading up to this point in our other games, this game, one-shots, go check it out. We've done things like Mask, Vampire the Masquerade, we did some Pathfinder, we've done other D&D stuff, we've done... There's a couple of games. Just go watch gamey videos on there. Go watch it. Yeah, check out the YouTube. Link in the chat. What else have we got to move on to? We use Syrinscape. It is amazing. Epic games deserve epic sound. Go check out Syrinscape. They have a free sound set or collection of sound sets that you can use to check out. You'll be massively impressed with them so much that you will subscribe to them. I would guarantee it, but I'm scared. So, yeah, go check out Syrinscape. We use them all the time. Every game I play, run, whatever I'm doing, I highly recommend it to the GMs I'm joining, and I always use it for the games I'm running, whether it be cyberpunk, fantasy, science fiction, etc. Excuse me. That was a loud burp. Yes, I'm drinking cherry-flavoured fizzy drinks. Go check out Syrinscape. They're amazing. They truly are amazing. If you're playing online like we are, you can use their download player app, which all your party downloads the app, whatever you play. They join your game, you play a particular sound set, it goes through their app. They can also enjoy the ambience you're trying to create, even though you are playing miles and miles away from each other. So go check out Syrinscape. Not a sponsor, by the way, they're just highly recommended. 200 bits. If you throw 200 bits at the channel, this will get a free reroll, which means... They can only have 5. Oh my god, the Game Weaver's here. Rather than close to the game, I mean the Game Weaver. There is no other Game Weaver. Thank you, AJ. I could have done with this I could have done with Dale Thin a couple of sessions ago. Just say.
Yeah.
They needed a wizard with intelligence above 10. So
no, the last thing we need is a chuffing wizard. That's what got us into this problem.
A couple of counters developed. So. 200 bits. If you throw it at the party, they get a free reroll. They can't use it on death saving throws. They cannot use it on my rolls, and they cannot carry them over. They can only ever hold 5 at one time. So if they spend those 5 and you want to give them more, please feel free. We're not going to stop you. But yes, 200 bits will get them a reroll. We'll do the sponsors in a second. Yeah, so we'll do the sponsors next. Loki Battle Mats, award-winning artists. They've created the big book of battle maps and the giant book of battle maps. If you go check them out, they've done a wilderness set, they've done their original set, which is all your arcane circles and forests and stuff like this. They've done a towns and taverns set. All of them very successful Kickstarters for very good reason. They're really good at what they do. Go check them out. They do digital versions of all their maps, so you can use them for your Roll20s, your Fantasy Grounds, your Foundry, I think, and other any virtual tabletops that you're using, you can use these maps on as well. And if you get the physical copies, they literally are a big book that you flip out, and it's got your map there ready for you to use and annihilate your players. Yeah. Coyote Grey. If you go to Roll20 to the marketplace, into the browser and search Coyote Grey, you will see all of his Chibi token packs. There's easy 100 in each pack, if not more. They're like $4.99 each. They're so cool. I'm a massive chibi art style fan. They're really, really badass. And when he released his Cyberpunk pack, I bought it immediately for my Cyberpunk games. They're super cool. Go check them out. Lots of love. Ashana is a selection of things. One, a very zen streamer. If you wish to chill out and relax whatever it is you're doing with your evening and just have Ashana on the other screen or however you're watching Twitch. She's got a really cool way of just relaxing you while you listen. She's a glass crafter, is what she streams. She makes glass figurines. They're super, super cool. The amount from sea turtles to dragons to murlocs to D&D figurines, super, super cool. Go check out Shana. Got loads and loads of time for her. Go check her out. Ruffworx Creative. This is the OnlyFans section of the sponsorship. Go to Facebook, check out Ruffworx Creative, look at the photo album, and you will see a ton of beautiful woodwork and leatherwork, all handcrafted, never to be repeated again. Ruffworx puts blood, sweat, and tears into these creations, and I've known him 20 years. The man is a talent that has never been noticed and should be. So go check out Ruffworx Creative on Facebook. He's also responsible for that beautiful Dungeon Master screen that's sat over there that I need a bigger place so I can get it out for you all. But if you go to the Heavyweight Gaming Facebook page, look at the video we did for you, you'll see the unboxing. It's stunning. Absolutely stunning. I'll try and put more pictures of it up. That's Ruffworx. That's all the sponsors. The Syrinscape. If you go to the DM's Guild and type in Tasha's Heavyweight Gaming or Heavyweight Gaming or Tasha's Heavier Crockpot of Bits and Bobs, it is the first supplement that our lot have put together. Lots of our geeky friends have written stuff for it. Lots of our other geeky friends have created artwork for it. Go check it out. 80 plus pages, subclasses, spells, everything a TTRPG player wants. $10, you're laughing, or less than $10. It's near 200 copies sold, or I think Rob may put a post. It's about to hit 200 copies, so we're very, very, very proud of that. And do we have
only
more
like one or
coming?
two.
There you go. So we are just about 200 copies sold, which is ridiculous for our first source material out there. So thank you very much to those that bought it, and hope you're enjoying it and using it in your games. Other than McIntyre, is there anything else, man?
No.
Cool. So, you see the McIntyre providing support your way logo on the overlay? That is because every year, Heavyweight Gaming as a bunch of nerds come together and do, well, what we've done the last couple of years is do a long stream. We've done a 24-hour stream, we did a 49-hour stream where we played RPGs, computer games, etc. It's really good fun and lots of craziness happened in the sleep deprivation. We've raised over £4,000 for charities like Birmingham Children's Hospital, Mermaids, Mind, Rainbow Trust, and we're hoping to raise a few quid for McIntyre this year. McIntyre is a support charity and they provide support for children, young adults and adults, all through their life. In various means. Some of the folk needing the support are autistic in various levels. Some just need everyday support in their everyday life. So McIntyre do a great job. They've got over 1,200 people that they support, and hopefully we can raise a few quid for them to do whatever they wish for. Really, I don't care what they do with it. They deserve it, and if we can raise it, we'll raise it. During what we're going to do this year is another 24-hour stream. It'll be a 24-hour one-shot of Dungeons & Dragons 5th Ed, dungeon mastered by me, and it'll be for the Short Rest Tavern party. They're going to play in the world of Colossus, and they've got 24 hours. They've created their characters. They're super keen. The artwork will be going up this week for you all to see the lovely characters. They're going to get obliterated, but it's going to be funny. So check it out this Saturday from noon till noon. Saturday noon, Sunday noon, 24 hours. We've got some giveaways. D&D Beyond have donated 2 copies of Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. Short Rest Tavern have donated a copy of Candlekeep Mysteries. Blink Dog Dice, a small Welsh dice making business, they've donated bags of dice. Loki Battle Maps have donated a big book of battle maps and a giant book of battle maps. Bardic Inspiration of UK have donated some Goliath dice bags. I think that's it at the moment. And they're all going in the pot. And basically, every £5 you donate, your name goes in the hat. If you want to do multiple donations, as in put your name in the hat multiple times, it's £5 a go. in your each donation you put, you have to tell me what you're going in for, whether it be the Ravenloft book, the Candlekeep, the dice, whatever it is, so I know which hat to put you in. During the stream, we'll do a draw, or after it, depending on how we're feeling. It will be this weekend. We'll do the draw, and people will win prizes. Job done. If you don't have any money to donate, don't worry about it. Just watching us, it'll be great if you can, throw a bit of support. Just share it. If you've got a mate that's got a few quid, take it off them, donate it, keep a couple of quid for yourself. Job's a good one. That's the way the world works. Rob everyone, give it to us. We'll do something good with it. Oh, poetry. Right.
For legal reasons, that was a joke.
For illegal reasons, I've been banned from Twitch.
The 24-hour stream is based in Colossus, isn't it? So,
It is indeed.
Those of us that are watching Tuesday stream might want to also watch Saturday. Those of us that participate in Tuesday stream might also want to watch Saturday.
The 24-hour stream will indeed impact the Tuesday campaign.
Yikes.
Love that for us.
Okay.
That's
Right.
what we need. More shenanigans.
Let's recap. You are in the realm of Tahoro, the realm of echoes. You have gone there to rescue no, you haven't, because you're Sebastian. Stefan Rycroft, the brother of Aristotle. Stuff happened, and they got to experience a wonderful, wonderful realm. Dead Kenku birds everywhere, strange wooden towns, way station towns, the first Ash, a younger Akarian. It's all been great. It's all been lovely and wonderful. In looking for Stefan, they have experienced some of the orbs / fairy globes that float around the place, and if you bump into them, touch them, etc., interact with them, there is a likelihood you will see an echo of your own possibility in another realm, another time, another plane. We need a wizard to explain the metaphysics. You get to see. They crossed a bridge and was quickly not crossing the bridge and now climbing said broken bridge. And some of the fairy orbs, fairy globes that they got to see would show you a possibility of your death. They all survived the climb of the bridge. Thank you, Dwarf Warrior. Can I give these bits to sacrifice a player character, please? That's not how it works.
You already lost one.
Yeah, don't anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to get a new hobby, Dwarf. I'm just saying. Climbing the bridge, walking along and experiencing snapshots of scenes in other realms. You got to speak to Stefan, not your Stefan, but a Stefan, who was heavily invested in a very thick book filled with all sorts of lore around the realm of echoes. You had a little bit of a read yourself and learnt some stuff. You asked or pointed out that Fire Stefan, should not dabble in such things as it's dangerous. Fire Stefan agreed and happily waved you on your way.
Fire Stefan's going to be made to eat that.
Or Stefan's going to feel the back of Cass's hand and he'll be lucky if that's all it is.
You then walked through some sort of garden / nursery of where these glass orbs were grown, basketed, carried to other gardens and replanted, and then managed to find a way to the shore, or at least one of the shores of the realm of Tahoro. In doing so, you got to witness the conjuring / summoning of a very large ship known as the Eternal Echo. But just before that, there was a battle that During said summoning against some pearlescent constructs, aka the Meatmen. I do apologise, Coyote Grey. I should have used a different colour. You fought your way through them. You got to face 3 Stefans of varying levels of power in their career as a wizard. Unfortunately, during said battle, Zandria Summerbreeze fell and lays lifeless. Ruby also fell and was close to being lifeless until there was an interjection from Silnaya. Can't add a word. Ruby decided to take the hard route and returned to her friends after a somewhat indeliberate calling from Aristotle, who happened to sing a beautiful song draconically. It's all happening. It's all happening on this show.
Look at
Tell you. So, we're going to zoom in on that. The storm's raging above. Ruby's back. Ari, you finished singing. You do have a scroll that none of you have been able to read. Ruby was told if you have the right components and a person able to cast through this scroll, it will bring her friend back. I'm going to close my door, as there are people doing mating calls in the garden across the way.
That's valid.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
I checked, they weren't my type, so mating call didn't work. Right. There's a storm going ahead. There's a storm. There's a storm. Chat, please let me know if this is too loud, as it's on. It's very loud for me. I just need to know. Whoa!
Of me.
Yeah, that's a storm.
How good would rain be right now, though?
Could do with one of these in real life, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Come
will
on.
definitely be outside while you lot roll dice. Right, so. Yeah, that is too loud. Yeah, I thought it might be. It nearly killed me, Jenny. It nearly killed me. Right, there's. Right, I've turned it down. Please let me know if that's alright. There is a storm above you. The wizards, known as Stefan, all damaged the door to the ship and sailed away. There is no sign of Nikolai. The creatures that were bobbing in the water disappeared. You are left in a storm on a stony floor with one of you no longer taking breath. 3, 2, 1, you're in.
Ruby hasn't moved. She is still sitting, holding Kess's hands, sort of swaying on the spot.
Sapphire
Which doesn't
kind
look
of
too good.
Sapphire moves away from the rest of the group and goes and kind of stands where the Stefans were, kind of staring out to sea. Kind of wishing he could punch one of the Stefans again. Doesn't really know how to deal with this death.
Ruby, you need to sit.
We are sitting. I think you were sat next to Zandria and Ruby. Sort of sat down next to you and physically took her off you. And laid her resting.
You need to rest before you fall as well. You got a scroll that might bring Drea back.
They says we'd have a week
Okay,
before she's too.
gone.
Can't see you.
You're alright.
Okay. We rest. And then we move on out.
Is it safe here, or should we?
It's not safe anywhere here.
Move near the waters, so we've got one side at least covered, and we can take shifts.
I don't think
I
that
don't
the
want to
water
box us
on
in.
that side would be preventative anyway. There's plenty as lives in the sea. And boats.
Okay. I'll take first watch. You go ahead and get rests.
While that first watch is happening, Kess will take the time to sort of gently but efficiently sort of bundle up Drea like they would if when someone would fall in battle in the desert for returning them to their tribe.
Generally, the clothing of one of the desert folk is long enough.
Layered so that would be possible.
Exactly that. And that, you know, if you were out to survive
Wasn't
in the
she
desert.
wearing the garb of Ravenholm?
But we've got
still got it
well,
with
she's
you.
partly in the stuff from Ravenholm, partly in stuff that we
Whether
had
Xandria's
from...
wearing it or it is in her bag, you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've also got like the big oilskin cloaks and stuff that we got at one
have
point
more
too.
than
Like
enough
there's
material.
plenty of material.
So,
And that's what he'll be doing now that
Ruby
his
is
plan-
making tea.
as the rain falls heavily and the lightning is above you ever so, it's not loud, it just flashes. The thunder is more of a growl than a boom. You're still quite open to the elements. Are you just like hunkering down as close to some of the broken rubble as you can, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ruby, give me a survival check with disadvantage as you try to brew up in a storm.
Can I not use one of the oilskin cloaks as a sort of tarp?
If you want.
That will be the setup.
That will lower the DC.
That will be, that's an 18. It's not because I've got
Is that with
quite
disadvantage?
good survival, I think. Oh no, 17 disadvantage, but I've got quite good survival.
You should have.
Yeah, I've got a +6 to that, so that is 23.
Easy enough. Using one of the cloaks and the material you've got around you and some of the ruined stonework, you manage to set up a little bit of a shelter to protect from enough from the storm that you can get the fire going and get a brew on. Kesrin, can you give me a religion check, please?
Yes. It's not great. It's not. It could be worse. It's a 13.
Okay. You all watch Kes ceremoniously wrap Xandria. He's very efficient, very precise, and very caring. Sapphire, you still just accepting the storm as you stare on?
Yeah, it's the first time anyone would have seen him in the rain and not complaining, basically.
And Ari, what are you doing?
I feel like I would leave Caspian to deal with his sister because obviously their rights are different from what he would know. And he would probably stand with Sapphire, looking out of where the ship disappeared to. And probably just like creep a hand towards Sapphire and kind of squeeze it and just be like, just kind of be stood in silence with him. Just
Okay.
trying to think of what we can do next.
If I want to make Cass a particularly potent tea, do you want a medicine check from me as well?
Define potent. Leave the tea bag in longer, or are you trying to knock him out?
I want to sedate him. If like, I'm not going to forcefully do it, but I'm looking. Ruby is fairly sure that Kess is. She will do that if he refuses to sleep.
Good luck.
But she's going to start gently. But yeah, she's fairly sure that Kess is either just going to go, oh no, I won't bother sleeping, or will have difficulty sleeping, or both.
Give me another survival check.
Get in 25.
Cool. So it will aid Kesfion in sleeping. In any normal scenario, if he was to drink this before bedtime, he'd be out quicker than he normally is. It does not, however, supernaturally affect his current state of emotions. So if he chooses to, it won't knock him out. May make him slur his words a bit. But who don't love a drunken Kess?
Ruby will wait for him to finish what he's doing before handing him the mug and would say, "This should make you sleep."
It's not the time for sleeping just now.
What do you do?
And when you collapse from exhaustion, is that going to help us?
All things taken, I probably came through this physically the best of everyone here. We're taking a short rest, allowing you to recruit, and then we're going to move on out. When it's time to sleep, I will sleep. But this is... We're not going to be here long.
You're getting some pretty serious side-eye off this, like she's debating calling the others back for reinforcements. She's not convinced that you not sleeping is wise.
What do you do with the lance, Kesfion?
Oh, is the lance still there?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Andrea said she summoned it. It's not as shiny, but it's the same colouring, and it's just laid next to Zandria. Do you pick it up?
I mean, he would probably have wrapped it for taking, so he would have inadvertently picked it up, same as you would any other.
Same as he's picked up all her other, like her bag
Yeah.
and her.
So he knows it's an important item, so he will have
Let's just
picked it
assume
up to
that
wrap
you
it,
wrapped
etc.
Zandria first and then went about
Yeah.
her belongings. As your
Yeah.
hand touches the handle of the lance, give me a charisma save.
I'm okay at these usually.
Zandria's like, you touch my fucking lance.
The ghost of Sandria just appears like, "Get off my lance!"
It's an 11.
11.
Kesfion disappears.
If the other two have their backs to this, they're just swearing from Ruby, and a cup like skittering across one of those tin camping mugs just goes skittering as.
What? Where's Caspian?
You hear the sound of something heavy hitting a puddle, that sort of big splash, and when you turn to see, any of you look over your shoulder, Caspian is nowhere in sight.
Right, well, whoever's doing that can stop playing silly buggers, because I no more. I've had enough now.
Sapphire lets go of Ari and just punches the pillar next to him and like stomps back over to the rest of the group. Like, he growls, where has he gone?
He picks up the lance, he disappears. So
The lance
without,
is also gone, by the way.
without another Fae to tell me about the Fae lance.
I mean, if you picked up the lance, then he's probably having a word with Whisper, is it?
Sapphire kind of throws his arms up in a fucking Fae bullshit and just drops into a cross-legged position.
I feel like Ari
next to
knows more about
Xandria's
the
body.
fucking Fae now. He's just like, well, it's like just doing that. I suspect he'll be back. She's gone to speak to Whisper before and come back, so we'll just need to wait for him.
So you just all sit calmly, hoping that...
No, Ruby is now taking her ire out on the small fire and the teacups and the kettle, but tea is being produced if the others want it. It's not potent, knock you out stuff, but it's standard Ruby fare.
Ari will kind of look at where Cass got to with Andrea and kind of see that everything's kind of as it should be and doesn't want to disturb it. So he'll kind of be like, tidy up the last few little bits probably. And kind of like make sure that she's all kind of, I don't know, like wrapped up and stuff as she should be, and I'll probably just like kind of take her hand, or take if it's wrapped, like we'll kind of like just put his hands like on the wrappings and just kind of. He doesn't want to disturb anything that Kess has done, but he'll kind of just have a few moments, probably just having a word.
Sorry, just making a note of something.
Oh god.
Guess feel. On grabbing hold of the lance, there is a rushing of. It sounds like when you put your ear to a seashell and you can hear that you can hear the sea. It's like that, but quite aggressive. And you sort of step away. You try to let go of the lance, but as you sort of blink away to avoid getting hit by a heavy wave, you look around you. You are sat on a pile of seaweed and kelp that seems to be. You're in the middle of a small, almost water feature with a stone rim to the base. Let me just change the music. Hopefully, new music will play through. Maybe. Yeah, let's go with that. Should have running. There you go. You are sat on a, like I say, on a bed of seaweed and kelp. It is in the middle of some sort of large water feature. There is stonework around the perimeter of it. You can hear the sounds of a quiet forest, a babbling brook, a quiet moment in the oasis oasi from back home. It's peaceful. Oases. It's sheep. You feel strangely comfortable despite everything that's going on. The lance is laid out on a very deliberate, almost seaweed pillow in front of you, almost ceremoniously placed on the seaweed. To your left, you see a very large satyr with curling horns and reddish fur on their cheeks, in a beautiful autumn-coloured, not robe, but it's like a almost poncho that comes across her shoulders and drops down, and then in a sash sort of way rolls out behind her. You see Toodles, and you, even though you know it to be Toodles, you instantly recognise the Jesuit. To your right, you don't see Malika. You do not see the presence of Summer, but instead what you do see is a very small, in white linen shirt, white linen loose trousers, barefoot, curly, mucky blonde hair on the tops of their feet. Their hair is really curly, really like curly and messy like rubies, just not dirty like rubies. A very cheerful smile on their face, and a finger on their lips. Just shush. All the sound around you drops quietly, but is still present. Yes, please. Looking left and right, beyond them, the environment is the copper forest, where the Jesuit stands, and you see it stretch and roll, and the copper bark trees for miles and miles, and the deep red, rustic copper coloured leaves. But when you look at Whisper, there is almost a void disguised with pale green and pale blues and pale reds, real pale colours of every flavour, mists, and every now and then you see a pocket of colour appear in the mist, like you know when you if you were to cover your hands in chalk and clap, and you get that, you see that in the fog. At a distance, it's not like a bomb's going off, but you can see there is an exposure of colour happening behind who you assume, I think you assume, is Whisper. Fucking hell. Don't know where that creature came from.
I
Yeah. And Whisper approaches, walks, steps over the stonework, quite clumsily, despite being a all-powerful entity, but kind of clambers over the stonework, steps into the water, and it comes to Whisper's knees. The white linen immediately soaks, and Whisper starts like paddling / wading towards you, climbing up onto the seaweed bed. Just sits opposite you. Whisper, Lance, Kesvion.
Yeah.
And he's just looking at the Lance and just shaking their head. Looks across to Toodles, aka the Jesuit, and you can see, even from this distance, that there is a wetness on the fur and cheeks of Toodles. Our lass is going at the ice with a knife.
I was going to say.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah. She's decided she wants ice and she's having it by her.
As long as the knife doesn't slip and everybody still has their fingers at the end.
As long as it slips over there, I don't mind. But if it slips over here, got shit to do.
I was just thinking we didn't want to abandon the stream to have to to have to rush anyone
Spartans,
to A&E.
We've got taxis around here, it'll be fine. Thank you. You can step 5 feet away now.
I'm gonna get murdered.
Love you!
As long as you're out of melee range.
I was gonna say, I mean, you're saying that to the woman who has just fought ice.
Come on.
Yeah, she will. Look at that. You can't see it, but anyway. And there is a deep emotional moment going on. You see Toodles, and you see the tear-soaked fur on her cheeks and such. And Whisper just takes a small sigh and then looks up at you, bright blue eyes. So, summer has passed. Questioningly.
Summer.
Do you speak at normal tone?
No, because
Okay.
he knows it's Whisper.
That's alright. Zandria did.
But,
She's like, what are you doing here, wee mum?
but yeah, that Xandria's that person that has never heard of an in-store voice. Like, that was her lowering her voice.
You've got another reroll, by the way. Thank you, Ruffworx.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yay, thank you.
Someone knows we need it. Summer will return.
Will it be the same summer, I wonder?
I hope so. We still have a duty to the Copper Forest that we said that we would fulfill. My sister would not go back on her promise to you or to the Jesuit.
Your sister's promise to me is a different one. But one I would enjoy seeing fulfilled. The forest is without a landlord for the first time since its creation. I hope. And they look across at the Jesuit. I hope Toodles and the autumn does not fall as quickly as summer has.
We're getting her back.
Do it quickly, child of the sea.
I shall. We were gifted a scroll that none of us can read. So that will be our first port of call. We've been told that will help bring her back.
My concern is, and they look down at the lance. The forest needs a landlord. If you say the child of summer is to return then you are choosing the forest to be quieter until their return. These creatures are far more noisy than I expected.
Is it possible for someone to care for it in her stead until she returns to reclaim it?
It doesn't quite work like that. Each of our realms has a guardian, and the guardian is a persistent presence. We cannot just pass around such responsibilities.
I understand.
Autumn will fall regardless. Summer will pass, spring will give new life, winter will end it when it's their turn. I just need you to be aware of your choice, speeding or slowing down said cycle.
We did promise to protect Autumn for as long as we could. I'll take Sandria's place.
Whisper looks across to Toodles. Toodles nods and sort of like vibes. Toodles doesn't approach at all. She stays. Toodles looks as if she's conference calling in. Like she's not there, but is aware of the situation. So be it. You will be the Lance Lord of Autumn.
Yes.
Take the lance.
He'll pick it up.
The water rushes up all around you in this small water feature, encompasses you like someone's just thrown a bucket of water on you, and when you shake your head and your hair, you are back, kneeling down next to Xandria, just picking the lance up. You lot see the lance. It is very, very different. It is decorated, there's a word, with long like octopus tentacles coming from the base of the lance, and as it reaches up there are smaller sea creatures, fish and such, swimming up towards the point, and it has a green sheen to its metal, and does have that same element of presence as it did when Xandria used to summon it. And you're back. You lot say Gaspion's returned to the storm, as I quickly jump over to Syrinscape while you lot interact.
I just look over and nod and you need to be back.
He seems slightly resigned again. A little bit of the get up and go that had been previous seems to have ebbed a little bit. But he how did she stow the lance? Because it's ruddy huge.
She's a warlock, mate. She summoned it.
Okay.
You're stowing a lance. Yes, Andrew were like, just weapon, no weapon, weapon, no weapon. You have got
I'm carrying it.
8 foot.
Yeah. Love that for me.
So Ruby will glance up and be like, so what else have you promised to who else now?
That gets a bit of a dirty look.
Oh, you
which is not
right back.
usually how Kess deals with Ruby at all. I'm going to continue the duty and the request that we were originally called from our homeland to do.
Makes sense.
During the brew making, the wrapping of Xandria, the visit to Whisper, the staring out to sea, you've had a short rest.
I'm actually not sure how to redo my character sheet for a short rest. What do I get back?
Dice, basically.
Sorry, what?
Short rest on a druid.
You don't get any spell slots back.
No.
Oh, I
You
do
can-
get my wild shapes back though.
If that's what it says, then yes you do.
Oh, I get my key points back on a short rest now. Awesome.
That is a piss take.
I didn't realise that. I
I
might be
get
requesting
fuck all
short rests
that.
more often.
Chuffing monks. What does it say? Short rest. Spellcasting. You get your shapes back. I think that's all you would get for a short rest.
I don't get any hit points back or anything.
No.
You can
You
roll
can
hit dice.
yes, but you can roll hit dice. You are currently level 8, so you have 8d8 that you can roll to get hit points back.
Okay.
You can roll 4 of them and use the other 4 at another short rest. You can roll 1 of them, except you can spend them throughout your short rests.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you get them back. You get them back
Right,
on a
what,
long rest.
forever or today or in this session?
You get
or-
that. You get them back after a long rest.
Right.
Yeah, so you roll the dice to get your hit dice, you get your hit points back, and then when you have a long rest, you get those hit dice back.
Right.
So you have a pool basically. It's that we're first aiding ourselves during the short rest.
Yeah.
So you're a druid, so you're a D8, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 8d8.
Just working out.
If you can use all of them, or
3.
yeah.
I tend to just use a couple and then see where I'm at, and then.
I'm going to use 4 though because I am at 1 hit point.
I've just used 4 and got some back, so.
I used my 1d12 and 3 of my d8s.
Get them all in. Get them all in.
Oh, I've got to send you a picture of this. That's 3 8s and a 4.
Nice, Yahtzee. So,
Pretty amazing.
While they're
Right, is
Yeah.
another one.
triaging, Kessel try and fashion something so that he can carry this absolute unit of a
Warlock.
yeah.
Oh, you mean Lance?
Yeah.
So,
It's gonna.
it's not difficult. Like sorting out just a bit of a. You can use one of your scarves to be fair to just
Yeah.
loop a knot at the bottom
Yeah.
and hook it
Uh-huh.
in. You are aware of its abilities and powers. If Jade could just forward you on the thing, if not, I'll do it. But yes, you are aware of what this weapon grants you.
Cool.
It's ridiculous. And now it's on a fighter. Yay! So,
I've used 6, okay.
you obviously, just so you are aware, you don't get the benefits unless using it.
Yeah.
So, Sandria's wrapped. You've had your short rest. Brews have been made. Lance Lords have been accepted. Weapon holsters created. What's your plan? You have the way you came back to the gardens, or you have a sea out towards you with a rough storm above your head.
Sorry, I'm just having a quick power read over this thing.
Well, the rest of you can make a decision if you want, or you can all
Yeah,
stare
just
at
having a
Kess
look.
while he stares at the lance.
I think while they would have been having a short rest as well, and while he's kind of staring out at the sea, he'll also kind of remember that Nikolai was in the area.
And it was your Nikolai.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And he'll remember that. Like, obviously after the heat of battle, etc.
Yeah.
It'll kind of just be like, kind of, obviously stood with Sapphire, kind of looking out over the sea and sorting Xandria out, etc. But at some point, it'll probably just like, they'll just like kind of remember that Nikolai was in the area and just be like, just send a message. He knows it probably won't hit anyone, but it's just like send a message and be like, Nikolai, where did you go?
Oh, what's the range of message?
120 feet.
You heard nothing.
I figured.
Worth trying.
Worth a try.
I say hear nothing. There's no response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. He'll kind of like look around and just be like, so, Cass, I'm presuming you talked to Whisper?
Yes. I can take on our promise to the Copper Forest, but what is between Whisper and Xandria is between Whisper and Xandria. I've informed them of what we intend to do. And they didn't so much as wish us luck as say that they would like to see her promise fulfilled to them. So as much of a blessing as you can get.
So, you were given this scroll, Ruby,
Mm-hmm.
and you were told that it would help bring her back to life.
Yeah.
It would help return her friend.
It's what Ruby is. She's had a few mental breakdowns, but now she seems to actually be approaching her last nerve. So she is answering you and engaging with you, but she's quite terse, and she is sort of like banging all her stuff back into a pack.
I'm just trying to understand, because not really heard of this before, which is obviously why we need somebody to be able to read that scroll.
Oh, it's something higher level clerics can do. I've heard of it, I've never seen it. But if we can find someone who can actually see anything written on there, there'll be a list of things we need and a spell.
Okay.
We don't have a lot of time. We need to make tracks.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, considering we don't even know what the shopping list is yet. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, we don't have a boat, so I guess that way?
I'm presuming there's nothing like opposite the way they came up. That just kind of goes out to.
It's just it stretches cliffs for miles, and it seems
Yeah.
that this focus point is the stairway into the water.
Yeah.
And they obviously didn't row out to the boat. They
Yeah.
magic to it. To mention Joe, Nikolai just swam away.
Backed off. Yeah.
So you're heading back to the gardens?
Seems like it.
I think that's our best bet.
Yeah, I think maybe talking to... We need to find other people that know more about this. Like...
I was going to suggest if we could get a hold of Ocarian or even Oro might be able to read it, even if they can't produce the spell required. Or even suggest who we could.
Right, there's obviously plenty of very good bards and wizards at the wall, but it's too far away. We can't. I don't think we can get there in time. And I know, like, we've got the thing to go back, but we haven't done what we intended to come here for at all. But we need to sort Zandria out. Can't leave her. Not when there's a hope.
Walk and talk.
Back to the gardens.
Yep.
Mhm.
I will assume Kess leads on this, but can you give me an athletics check with advantage, because there's no way one of these aren't helping you, to lower Zandria down to the gardens?
Yeah. Athletics, you said.
Yep.
Yeah. That is. That's the bigger number. So that makes 24.
Super easy, super easy. You make your way out of the storm, away from the coastline, through the magical portal or entrance / exit way, back down to the serene gardens of whatever it is they grow in these glass baubles. Well, I do another music change. Do apologise as we do music changes. Can you all hear that?
Not yet.
Did I hear a wee bird, maybe?
No.
It's
Yeah.
just kind of
Outside the
like
window
an
then.
empty noise,
You need,
for
Yeah,
lack
yeah.
of
you
a
need to
better
turn
term.
it right up,
Yeah.
guys, because it's like
Yeah,
very quiet.
yeah.
I've got it turned
Yeah.
right up and just
Yeah,
hear it.
I've got it on full. It may change. But we
Yeah, it's just kind of. Yup,
There we go.
there we go.
dinosaurs. Just what we needed.
Dinosaurs would probably make Ruby quite happy.
Right, as you
I
climb
ain't dealing
down,
with chuffing dinosaurs.
as you climb down, and you hear those growls in the distance and an unsettling wind. Let's turn you up a little bit more. I don't know if chat will be able to hear that. You notice that the gardens are abandoned. These gardens that reach off into the cave sort of system around you with no ceilings. The appeared humanoids that were tending them, gone. Absolute emptiness. There is the pathways that you walked here, and there are more pathways leading further in. Further up the road, you see a humanoid shape. There is a cloak about their shoulders, or a thick, heavy robe, or something that is covering their main features, that just seems to have a small flap in the wind, which every now and then shows you the silhouette of arms and legs, and a hood up around them. They are about 100 feet up the road. You look skyward, and you hear the crows and the ravens, similar to what you heard on the Fields of Silence when you first arrived. And they seem to fly about, flocking above this humanoid's head.
Shit. Does the person ahead, does it look like it might be Oro or Okarian or anything? Anyone
It is,
too far to.
yeah, too far. You get that they're two legs, they've got arms, they're in a heavy piece of
That's
material that is
Definitely a
hiding detail.
person.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go and take a look?
I don't think there's anything for you to hide behind.
There is. You're like where you are. There's a network of cave gardens. Remember, the only thing that's missing from
Okay,
them is a ceiling.
I thought we had come out of the network.
No,
No,
You've
going
come
into
down. You've come down the.
Come back.
/ladder,
Okay,
yeah, and
cool.
you're there.
Sorry, for some reason in my head when we'd come out of it, we'd come out onto flat, and that's why I was like, what the
No,
are you
you've
going to
come
hide
out-
behind?
Yeah. No, sorry. The description is the ravens are similar to the fields.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sorry, that my confusion.
So yeah, Ari is more, or could possibly,
Yeah.
depending on roles. Like there's plenty of nooks and crannies and cave mouths and stuff like this to, if Ari so wishes to.
It's worth a try.
Yep. He will attempt to. I don't know what my rules are like. He will attempt to like sneak a little bit closer and try and get a good look.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
It's in that one.
Do you want to maybe use one of our 2 rerolls?
3
Maybe
rerolls.
we got
Three
three
rerolls.
rerolls.
For
That's one of the ones that just came out.
I love how Mel just accepted it. That's that one.
That's another one. Alright, I'm
what
gonna use a
type of
reroll.
bloody rogue are you? Jeez.
Listen. The type that rolls shit on my dice apart from now. Haha. I mean. Yeah, that's a 22.
Shows you how often you bloomin' sneak that you had to look that up.
Listen. We don't do roguey shit very often.
It's at that time when I had Pass Without Trace prepared, and you were just like, "Ooh, I'm invisible."
48.
So you. What did you get? 20.
I rolled a 15 plus 7 is 22, yeah.
2 6. Jesus. So, as you are staring up the road, and you have Xandria. Who's carrying Xandria?
Probably Sapphire at
Yeah, I was
this
going to say
point.
I'd be happy to carry.
Sapphire.
I think
your
they'll
Cradle
probably
and Xandria
take
in
it in
your
turns
arms.
between.
Cool. Rest of
Those of us who actually have strength.
Yeah.
Not me then.
As you are, flexing at each other, Ari disappears. Ari, you make your way towards this humanoid in the path up the road. As you get closer and closer, can you give me a perception check, please? They don't seem to be reacting. Every time you make a next quick sprint to the next shadow, they don't seem to be... Your confidence remains high as you stealth closer towards them. Sorry, what was your perception?
23.
Ooh. As the very, very weak breeze catches the cloak, you see plate armour of brass across their chest, shoulders, and they are of a very, very large build, almost Goliath in size. The hood, when it flaps in the breeze, you can see that their face is hidden behind a brass mask, which you would assume is part of a plate helm to match the rest of the armour. They have a large great axe on their back that you only notice as the handle sticks out from the top, and from the angle you're at on the flap of the cloak you see the butterfly blades, and they just stand there. They seem familiar.
It's very much brass plate armour.
It is brass, and they seem familiar.
Oh no, I don't like the seem familiar part. Because I can only think of one person with plate armour. Christ.
What did you get? 20 odd on your...
23.
On the brass armour, in the middle of the upper chest part of it, you see a pristine avian skull with a pair of feathered wings out either side of it. It's definitely a bird's skull. Again, the symbol seems familiar. Oh.
My brain's not going through all the NPCs.
You could get closer.
Yeah, we'll probably try and get a bit closer.
So just for your visualization, this is a very wide singular path that's got a bit of a snaky twist to it, going further past all these cave these mini cave gardens. Yep. So it's not that the cave gardens stop and it's an open field. They're in the way type thing. You get a bit closer. You still feel very confident that you are hidden. Nat 1 and a 6. So you are now within, I would say, 50 feet comfortably. If you do get closer, it will be easier to spot you, or at least attempt to spot you. Give me another perception check.
Oh, it's a net 19. That is a, oh my god, I can't add up. 25.
The person before you is a member of the Reapers of Kashai.
I was like sitting there going, is it the room?
And the last time you saw this particular person in the attire they are in, you know them as Owlbearer.
Yay.
The axe-wielding Goliath that uses sign language to speak or communicate. What you notice now is they are at an angle staring towards the cave mouth to your right and up a bit. They weren't actually looking down the road. But you don't see anything of what they're looking at.
Bearing in mind where he is, and it's the realm of echoes. I think he's gonna risk trying to send a message back to Cass.
Okay.
It is a whisper that he has to do.
Okay. So you
just-
have to. Do you have to say it out loud?
That's what I'm just checking. Yeah, it's verbal.
Okay.
So, you whisper a message.
What do you whisper?
He'll kind of whisper towards Cass and just be like, Cass, I think it's Owlbearer. That was with Bunny. Sorry.
You should just have said Owlbearer.
He already replied, so I can't add to my message, but it was going to say, but... Yeah.
That was out of cat.
Okay.
I got what you were.
You weren't actually replying. Yeah, I think it's Owlbearer, but I don't know if it's our Owlbearer. I think I should go talk to them.
Worth the risk.
He'll kind of try not to suddenly appear to catch him completely off guard, but kind of be like, try and casually kind of walk into the area and see how he reacts.
I love how even Ari's got enough self-preservation to not just like pop up next to a massive dude with an axe, like, hiya!
But have you revealed yourself?
Yeah.
Owlbearer's body language immediately changes. They're no longer looking at the cave mouth. They're facing you. A very large hand goes to the handle of the axe, but does not take it.
He'll kind of like put his hands up, kind of be like, because again he's not pulled his rapier or anything. He's literally just like, we were just hoping for some help. I knew you in a different time.
Using Thieves' Cant to communicate back with you, knowing that last time you sort of understood what he was trying to say and then mixed it. He wasn't as well adept at Thieves' Cant the last time you met him. He's clearly learnt a bit about it, or may have picked it up from elsewhere. He gestures to you, friend or foe.
He'll gesture back. We were friends.
Still friends? Question mark. poo emoji.
And again, gesture back and just be like, yes, we would appreciate some help.
He
Not what he asks.
No.
he'll
He said yes.
he gestures
Fucking
back.
Harry.
He gestures back. Me too.
Wouldn't we all, fucko?
He's no longer holding the axe, and he starts walking towards you. Do you stab him?
No.
As Owlbearer comes right up to you, you are reminded of a Goliath in plate armour and a heavy travelling cloak with a great axe.
Yep.
Starts signing to you, and then signs quite quickly, and there's a mix of Thieves' Cant and Owlbearer's signing language, and it kind of muddles up as if they're almost stuttering their words through their hands. And then Owlbear just grabs you in a big bear hug, pulls you into the brass metal plate, which is really comfortable. I'm scared. I don't know this place. On a mission. Where are your friends? You get signed back at you in Thieves' Cant.
He'll sign back. You're scared. That makes me scared.
Owlbearer signs back. Why are you signing?
It's just habit. Someone taught me thieves can't. It's habit.
Signs back. Good habit.
Yeah.
Where are your friends? Are you alone? Are you safe?
My friends are back there. They're safe-ish.
Not for long. Not safe here. Need to move.
Okay.
And Owlbearer sort of like gestures to the sounds of strange creatures you hear in the air.
He'll send the message back to Cass. Owlbearer says we need to move. Come up.
Be right there, and they'll come out from. Well, I presume everybody, not just Cass on his own.
Yeah, no, Ruby's decided she's found a garden, she's moving in, she wants no more of this fucking nonsense.
Don't blame her. Cass will have also recounted to them while they're secreted away what Ari has messaged.
Okay.
So we'll, and they'll head on up.
Cool. As you approach and you recognise Owlbearer, slightly more kitted for war than last time. I mean, he had his plate armour and stuff like this, but he's fully, covered in plate with his axe. Immediately he starts signing to Sapphire in a welcoming, in their own little, almost bastardised, on-the-fly made-up sort of few things, almost slang, as he was practising with Sapphire the first time and teaching him small bits. He, again, just goes into his normal communication of sign language rather than Thieves' Cant. Between the majority of you pick up he's saying hello, welcoming you. He then pauses, takes off his helmet, drops his head, makes no action or movement with his hands, but is looking at Xandria, or at least the wrapped person in Sapphire's arms. There is a almost 45-second howling of death in the air.
I was about to say,
Owlbearer is brought out of their whatever it was they were doing at the sound of said creatures in the air, and signs need to move.
Yes, we do.
Owlbearer now has his axe in hand, and it is a very large butterfly-bladed great axe that only a Goliath in brass plate armour could wield. And starts heading away from the way you came, so where Ari went up to him.
Yeah.
And he looks back, signs at you, and says, "Town ahead."
Okay, we'll come. If Albert is leading the way, Ariel kind of like if. So Sapphire's carrying Xandria.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ariel will like hang back towards the back of the group to like try and
Yeah.
flank essentially.
Yeah, fair.
Ruby is looking around to see if she can actually see one of the creatures.
Give me a perception check.
16.
In various of the gardens, in some of the gardens. How do I word that? In some of the gardens, you see where the sounds feel strongest, as if it's echoing off the very walls themselves. You see some broken glass globes in the soil in a few of the cave gardens as you're walking along, and it seems the sound of these creatures and presence of, evil, presence of whatever you deem it to be. It seems to be originating from the gardens that have the broken orbs in them.
Mages.
As you follow Owlbearer, swapping the carrying of Xandria, he takes you. It seems to climb at quite a quick, steep gradient, and you're almost leaning forwards and pulling yourselves up. It goes that steep. There are ravens and crows flying all around you. It peaks maybe 50 feet up this hill, flattens out, and then drops, and you see the path before you. Excuse me. As you come through what would be a mountain pass without mountains, and it goes down, and you see it wind into a cove, and at the bottom of the cove, you see a port town. There is a very shoddy wooden sign that is maybe 10 feet from this opening that winds down and it says on it, Tauranga. And if any of you read it, you say it 5 or 6 times without meaning to. The port town looks busy. There is a few piers that reach out from it into the sea. The sea is not as rough as where you were a moment ago. There is a very large body of water, pretty much an ocean, that stretches out away from the port town. The cove stretches all the way around to your left and a shorter bit to the right. And you have the port town that is, a good 10 minutes trek from where you are down into this bay. Again, you get that surrounding of the rock and greenery around here. Fauna all has a green inked edge to it, and the port town is wooden, and it has like leaf thatched roofs. It's very much a almost exotic holiday destination looking type port town in this strange realm. And you see many of the people you've seen with the tattoos all over their bodies down and working around. And you see various other folk that you don't recognise, but it reminds you of the way station, even though its personality of the town is very different.
Yeah.
And you walk down there, I assume, following Owlbearer?
Yep.
Yeah.
As you potter on down there, and you get to this town, which is claiming the name of Tauranga, you see it on a few of the buildings, almost painted on. It's got a very beach vibe to it. You see Tauranga on a lot of the buildings. There is a lot of the natives of the Realm of Echoes pottering around, and they are very smiley. They are very interactive with those visiting. So when you went to the way station before, they kind of ignored you and kind of did what they were doing. Here they're very interactive with the other folk you see around you. You see dwarves, humans, tieflings, gnomes, halflings, elves, orcs, various flavours from all over the world. You see them as if this is the busiest port town you've ever been in your life. But it's of a size that is kind of deceiving. There's quite a lot of activity going on here, but walking down to it doesn't appear to be a massive port town. It's more a heavy port village, but there does seem to be a lot of activity going on here. What you do see straight away that jumps out and, you know, may tweak some emotions in your characters. You see Oro enjoying a drink at a almost shack-like bar, and the drink is a very large coconut, and they're drinking whatever's within the coconut with a very large smile on their face, sat at said shack. And before you approach drawing weapons, we're going to call a break there because it's 9:30. It's stupidly hot. I need a drink.
Thank you for the reroll, my bunny.
We'll need
Yay.
it.
We'll need
Gonna
it.
need it.
Right, we're going to have a quick break, so yeah, stick around. I hope you're enjoying it so far. We shall be back momentarily. Give us 10-15 minutes and we'll be right back with you. So, see you in a bit. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.
stretching like a weirdo, and it's too hot to sit
You
up.
should.
So
You are ish on the screen. You've got the scroll end of Ruby's name thing up your nose, but it looks cool. It's fine.
fine, I'll sit up.
If you look at the Twitch, you should be able to position yourself.
Oh, I can even see the cat on my screen. Yeah.
Yay! As long as we don't word that differently, they won't ban us. So,
He's a good furry boy.
welcome back to those that are back. If you're new, etc., love you all. Blah 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 blah. It's too hot. I can't be asked. Thanks for watching. All right, just thanks for watching, for being here with us.
Suffering
thanks
together.
for the rerolls. Bebonics for the real life fire resistance. I'm sure you all need. It's not working. It's not working. So. You lot have transported Xandria to a town with the aid of Owlbearer, a friend of yours from the material realm. You are now on the edge / entering the town of Tauranga, which when you say its name, you repeat several times. Ahead of you, sat a lovely bar / shack, is Oro, in all his dwarven Maori gloriousness. Sat next to him, enjoying a small drink, is Jed. Can you describe what they see, please?
So next to the gentleman is a young lady with incredibly blonde hair. She's got pale skin. She is wearing a sort of light pinkish purple short sleeved like dress top, which has got like a brown pinafore dress over the top of it. And she's got a little cardigan on as well. And there seems to be a small fuzzy creature sat on her shoulder, but you can't see from a distance what kind of creature it is.
It's an orangutan. Right, so
Known for being small orangutans.
next to me. You see Oro. You see this lovely dressed fuzzy animal wearing person. What are you lot doing? Town is busy and bustling, as Syrinscape will inform you all now.
God, the things are too high.
Music will probably burst in, so I'll turn that down a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I just had to do because it was like chatter. Probably on seeing Oro, Kess will make a beeline to him. Well, Ruby still had the scroll, didn't she?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, kind of like grabbing a hold of Ruby on the way.
Well,
Single-minded focus of he might be able to read the thing.
Ruby would have been sticking close to Kess anyway. She's still not a big fan of crowds, and she's not having her best day. She's one minor inconvenience away from going on a murder spree. Is the kind of last nerve that we're on at the moment.
Okay.
So she just lets Kess,
So
because that means Kess is between her and people.
Kesrion drags Ruby across to Oro. Oro turns and sees you approach. Kesrion.
Oro, I will kind of like nod, sort of politely to the companion. I apologize for disturbing you. I was wondering, and he'll kind of like sort of wave a hand to Ruby. I was wondering, a lot's happened. Can you read this?
Oro just
Ruby gets a kind of Oh, that's why I'm required. And fishes out the scroll obediently and sort of hands it over.
Oro takes the scroll, opens it up, sees that it is a sodden piece of parchment that has not fallen apart, and he turns it like over, reads the, looks at the front and the back. It is it'd be a scroll of divine power. I can read it, but I cannot cast it. The divine energies are not my skill set.
That's better than what we had. Ruby, it said that...
Is there a list of things on there that we will need for someone to cast it, please?
Thank you.
It appears to be a spell of returning one to life.
Yes.
Many folk use diamonds to perform such magic.
Many folk use. Does that mean it must be, or we want something that's made similarly to a diamond, like any stone, or do we want something of equal value, or
Oro
must it be a
turns
diamond?
to the young lady at his left, and talking to you but looking at her, ask a cleric.
That will just snap round. Are you a cleric?
Yes.
Same question. He like it's like answer.
Like Ruby just like puts a hand on his wrist and says quietly in Sylvan, "Take a deep breath."
You are very aware
Yeah.
that diamonds are the resurrection component of varying values. It can only be a diamond, or something that is a powerful arcane component that you are unaware of exists in the world. But an example would be a very famous D&D thing using residuum, if something existed like that. But the component is diamonds.
Diamond, yeah.
Yeah.
And the more powerful the spell, the more expensive the diamond.
Resurrections, they have to be diamonds, unfortunately. Depending on how powerful you need to make the resurrection spell, depends on how valuable the diamond needs to be. So, unfortunately, you need a diamond.
No,
Anything else?
we can work with how powerful it needs to be.
She's
How
been
would we
dead
know?
maybe 5 hours.
If it's relatively fresh, then you're gonna need a diamond of at least, it's 300, isn't it? 80 for
Ish.
fresh.
You can work with ishes.
Yeah. It's 300 gold-ish worth of diamond.
That's a quick bring back. Beyond for the spell, beyond that they go from 500 to 1,000 depending on what spell they're planning on casting.
I'm sorry, I'm not versed in these things at all, and I'm sure you can understand from the questions that we are asking that it's a hard situation. Is there a way that's best to keep a person until we're able to source the diamonds?
The best thing you can do is, if you can't do it immediately and you plan to do it in the future, then you want to make sure that the body is well preserved. There are ways of doing it magically to stop decomposure.
Is that something you can do?
Mm-hmm.
What's your price?
I don't I don't do things for money. I do it because people need help.
We really need your help.
Okay. I'm happy to help, you know. Do you know, I know this is a hard question, especially when you've just lost somebody, but do you have an idea of how quickly you're going to be able to get the diamond for the resurrection? Because that plays into how powerful a spell needs to be cast to preserve.
That will entirely depend on where the nearest amount of diamonds are.
Ruby, sorry, must it be one complete stone, or will just the value in lots do?
The value in lots will probably
Value
do.
lots.
Okay. Ruby turns around and starts looking for Ari. And if she spots him nearby, we'll wave him over.
Look.
Larry's waved over. Owlbearer's just stood with Sapphire, offers to take Xandria if...
No, I think Kess will be like...
Ari will come over and be like...
Sapphire will come over to the others, but will not relinquish body.
Okay, Ari, briefly. The things we need for the spell is diamonds. We need at least 300 gold's worth of diamonds.
Okay.
What kind of stones are in your sword? And sorry, but your family looks quite rich. Does your mother by any chance have a lot of jewellery?
There's sunstones in your sword.
I was gonna say, he's kind of like...
Yeah, Ruby is not well versed in expensive things, so it's
So-
like, that is a
Oh, he
shiny
is.
rock, that is a shiny rock. They look expensive.
As for jewellery and such, yes, you are noble houses, but you are noble houses situated on a war. Like, your nobility is the fact that a long time ago, your families were noble. As for wealth, the wall is the wall. It's a very, very livable barracks, basically. So there will be expensive kit, and you do have a few more coin than those around you, and you do have the swagger of nobility. But rocking out, you know, especially after an evacuation as well, it's unlikely that the first thing that went through your mum's head were, quick, get the diamonds.
Which arguably would work in our favour.
But
Yeah,
who knows?
that's what I was
Who knows?
thinking.
It's just for
But-
clarity for Ari.
Yeah.
Again, this is Ruby's ignorance of the...
It's fine. It's just so Ari.
Yeah,
rich.
no, that's fair.
Those are expensive.
It's kind of a yes
Ask
no
him.
answer, Harry.
Yeah, exactly. He'll kind of look at her and just be like, he'll kind of pull the rapier out and be like, the sunstones, they wouldn't work. Kind of looks at the rapier and puts it back.
While he's
We'll go
looking
back to that
at
later.
it, are 2 stones still...
I was going to go back to that later, but you know, that's fine.
Sorry.
Both stones glow as brightly as they did, with the promise of 2 souls.
This... I'm sorry, I didn't... That was rude of... We didn't ask after your name. I apologise.
Oh, it's... Don't worry about it. I understand you're grieving and you wanna sort the issue out quickly. So I take no offense to my name not being asked for. But for future reference, my name's Crystal.
This crystal is... They can help us.
Okay.
She's a cleric.
Oh, we like clerics. Clerics are good.
Okay.
She can help preserve Drea until we can get the materials.
Sorry, Miss Crystal, we got halfway there. This is Caspian, my name is Ruby, and this is Sapphire and Ari.
It's Well, I'd say it's lovely to meet you all. It's a shame about the circumstances.
Yes, this. And he just kind of like awkwardly kind of glances to where Xandria is kind of cradled by Sapphire. This will be my sister Xandria.
Get a little hand squeeze.
If you're able to help us preserve her, then we can set about finding these diamonds we need.
Yes, of course.
Is the resurrection something that you are also capable of if we have the components, or?
Resurrection is it's a tricky thing, especially considering that we may not be from the same echo realm. And if we are not, then my magic will not be compatible with bringing your sister back.
He looks like just devastated.
Well, I suppose the easiest one. If I say ivory wall to you, what would come to mind?
Give me a history check, Crystal. Get the dice out for Crystal. That's right, kids. We've got a ruby, a sapphire, and a crystal. You can't write it.
If we could have some fucking diamonds, though, that would be appreciated.
Next character, Kes, you can be a diamond.
Don't want to be a diamond.
2025. I've got intellect out of the wazoo.
Oh, yeah, fair.
Oh, we have someone with good intellect. Great.
Had to be one.
That's bad because she's going to quickly work out to fucking leave you lot. So, Ivory Wall is a place where at one point King Reinhardt owned a fuck ton of the world in his empire, including the Kingdom of Everdawn. And the family of Everdawn have been in charge, as it were, historical bardic music cue, ever since the time of Reinhardt. When the Empire dissolved and retreated back to Ravenholm, Everdawn was left as its own entity, with the family of Everdawn ruling as a monarch forevermore. And I'm talking like generations and generations. So you are aware of the stories of Ivory Wall, the embellished bardic tales of the Ivory Wall, the demons that attack, the heroes and angels upon its wall, the eagles that fly above, you know, that sort of really heroic versions. Detail, less so. Heroic movie blockbuster version, very aware of.
I know the tales of the Ivory Wall, but it's not, I'm going to assume, the same as what you probably have, where you are from.
Where are you from?
I am from the Kingdom of Everdawn.
Does that mean anything?
Only to Harry. Give me a history check, Harry.
I'm gonna say Larry Down. That is. Hey, I'm proficient in history apparently. That's exciting. 15.
15. In a similar way to how Crystal knows the embellishment of the Ivory Wall, it's more remembered in Ravenholm because of their pride of history and the fact that anywhere Reinhardt's empire touched, they claim as, you know, blessed that they had Reinhardt actually go through it. The Kingdom of Everdawn is on the other side of the world-ish. However, it is still spoken about in your history classes as your tutorage happens. It is a place of utmost divinity. It is a place that stories tell of Reinhardt fathering a divine child with a divine entity of light. Not many of the Raven Homelock believe it, but you always get, it's a cool story to have bolted onto your culture, or so some folks will claim. But you are very aware that Everdawn is a divine kingdom, a very religious kingdom, and it's also responsible for what is known as the Dawnborn and the Duskborn. And these are Aasimar that migrated from Everdawn to Atoria, and then it becomes very story and legend and myth. You'd also know that, Crystal, but it wasn't relevant to your particular.
Everdawn. So, are you from a divine type of background? We've heard the stories. I'm from the Ivory Wall. We've heard the stories of divinity and that you've got Dawnborn and Duskborn. But
So just so you're both aware, no longer the Dusk and Dawn are historical.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So she'll just kind of like me. Yeah, we've got a lot of stories. Never met anyone from there, so nice to meet you.
Likewise.
So there's a chance.
Just as an FYI to both of you on your history checks, you've both seen this tapestry because it exists in many places in the Kingdom of Everdawn and many places in Ravenholm. When the Dawnborn and the Duskborn are spoke of, when the Dawnborn are spoke of, its tapestries decorated with butterflies. When the Duskborn are spoken of, the tapestries are decorated with moths. And
Two things I absolutely hate.
I normally check because one of my other parties don't like moths, so I was like, well, you ain't getting that law. And I was like, I just got to go for it now, I've committed. As you were.
Okay.
So there's a slither of a chance.
Oh, perhaps a better one would have been, is there a civil war happening far away from your home that you know of?
Why? It's the other side of the world.
They might. I'm just
The answer is
trying.
probably a strong yes, but Crystal couldn't tell you. Probably.
Like, they're from literally the opposite side of the world. I've never met anybody from there, and I've travelled a fair bit, but yeah, there's just stories about how you can help people, I guess. Ways that we just don't really see much. Like this whole resurrection thing. It's not really something that happens where I'm from. Like, at least where I'm specifically from. I've seen it in other places, but I don't have a huge amount of knowledge, so any knowledge is absolutely brilliant at this point, because we just want to bring our friend back. It's too
I
soon.
understand.
None of you saw it arrive, but there is a raven on Oro's shoulder, and it appears to be whispering in his ear.
Seems like a perfectly normal thing to Ruby.
Yeah, every day. He's got a tree on the other side.
They're asking him if he wants to go to the karaoke.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, now that you're all closer, the small fuzzy creature you saw at a distance is a sugar glider.
God, that's adorable.
Ruby, now that she has kind of noticed, has greeted the sugar glider and is a little bit like pretending she's not staring at the sugar glider because his little face.
Do you, oh, sugar bee. Do you actually
if-
communicate with the sugar glider?
Yes,
Yeah.
just a polite greeting, but Yes.
Bloody druids.
I really want to do an Australian accent, but I can't. Good night.
If Crystal catches Ruby like staring at her sugar glider, Crystal will just carefully pick her up and just hop her over to Ruby. He's very friendly.
When you speak, you just hear a hi.
So like without thinking, because it seems so normal to her, she just sort of like while she's like communicating with the sugar glider, she just sort of like pulls the mouse out of her hair and like hands it over. Like this is what we do. We swap friends.
So you got the soft sugar glider, and Jeremiah's there with a cigar, like. How do, Crystal?
Scratch the top of Jeremiah's head.
It rips your thumb off. So while you two were having cultural exchanges of gifts, what are the rest of you doing?
Waiting for Oro to finish so that he can bombard him with more questions.
As if by magic.
That was impressive.
The raven flies away after Oro nods to said raven and returns looking back at yourselves and sees Kesvion boring into him with his hands. Speak.
Where would we get diamonds? Is it possible to get diamonds here?
We do not. Gemstones is not a commodity within the realm. Tohoro is noise repeated, silence unheard. However, I have news from my friend, and he sort of gestures towards the sky and then looks at Harry. Your brother is not on a good path.
Yeah,
And
you're
your
telling
brother
me.
is
No shit.
imprisoned also.
He's imprisoned.
The brother you seek is in the Tower of Puku. Put there by the one who wears the robes of the Phoenix. This Phoenix has broken the laws of Tohoro and has slain many of themselves throughout Echoes. This is not good.
How
Then
far is it from here?
Looks at, as you ask how far, looks at Crystal. The Tower of Puku is the one I mentioned regarding your question on powerful curatives. It is said that within the Tower of Puku there is a silence placed there by Tohoro themselves at the birth of the first echo. And these silences can cure all ailments of all origins. There is nowhere to enter the Tower of Puku, and the fact that this phoenix has managed to do so puts a strain of fear within me I have never known. And as for its distance, and he just sort of turns and points towards the way the cove stretches out, and you didn't see it before, but towards the far side of the cove there is a unnecessarily dramatic scene of dark clouds, a tower reaching towards the sky, blackened rocks and cliffs and mountains around it, as if somebody's gone all out on a dramatic painting of said tower. That be the Tower of Puku.
Of course we've got to go there. Of course we do.
You do not have to.
Yeah, we do.
Looks
There's
back at
sort of a sotto muttering from like the height of 5'4" that the phoenix needs a slap, so we're going.
looks back at Harry, does Oro. The anchor to your brother has returned home.
Okay.
My friends tell me he is with the Phoenix without the knowledge of the Phoenix. Take from that what you will.
Okay. And kind of looking over in the direction that was gestured to. How does one go about getting there?
You row. And gestures towards the piers.
Okay.
Of course, we've got to go over water.
How many days row, roughly?
If you are strong, you would make it in a day. If not, it doesn't matter, you will die.
Okay. Ari's not rowing then.
For some
He'll
reason,
just kind of like still staring ahead, just kind of like
Wasn't you, you little shit.
sapphire like on like the bicep, being like, "You and me, buddy."
Yeah.
Ruby's fairly strong.
know this. To resurrect within the realm of Tahoro will not work. At least not in the way you people understand. If you resurrect within the realm of Tahoro, the echo will remain in Tahoro.
Okay. If we were to take Stefan out of this realm, would that stop the echoes, or would that continue the echoes?
I do not know. This Phoenix wizard has broken rules and not been punished as first thought. That is power I do not like.
Sounds familiar. When you're saying he's wearing the robes of the Phoenix, are they orange coloured by any chance?
Yes.
Huh. Huh.
They sail the Eternal Echo, a ship
Yeah.
not belonging to them. It was the first ship my people arrived in Tahoro, and it was sunk as a gift to Tahoro. It will allow them to sail to any body of water on any plane within any echo. My people and I are echoes from everywhere.
On any plane.
There is only one other we know of in the history that can sail to any plane. She calls herself Eleanor. And is cursed to sail eternally. Or so these stories will tell you. There's a small smile on Oro's face a bit of a smirk as he just rests back, belly out. Just looks back, drinking from his coconut. You are not the small stories I first thought. I thought you lost when you entered the realm I watch over. Seems you have bigger tales to tell.
Someone else told me that once. Thank you for your help, Arrow.
The Kenku. There's a lot of Kenku here. Is it because they echo?
The Kenku are the component to horror used to create echoes, and a lot of their lights were extinguished in doing so. They try to steal sound and voices, and were punished for it. It is their curse to forever mimic.
Understood. So, need a boat?
There are many. And just gestures towards the pier.
Will we need to take Sandria with us? Will we be returning to this town? And if so, is there somewhere we could let her rest until we return for her?
It is your choice, and yes. Owlbearer sort of raises his hand and gestures that he can watch over her if you so wish. Or leave her here and come with you. He will do whatever you feel is best.
Ruby looks to Cass, and that information is available. Obviously, Cass gets them.
You all pick up on the sound.
I
Jesus, that's loud.
have a feeling we'll be leaving that tower in a hurry. I don't think we'd be in a position to return for her if we left her here.
Yeah, plus I think if it's a day away, if
That's
we
a
can
day
make the row,
lost.
it's another day lost, and we need to move her back. And when Stefan's literally killing himself and locking himself away, and then sailing off
Oro
his
pipes
little-
up. He did not lock himself away. He locked himself away.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Helpful.
Does actually make sense. I feel like I've met Eleanor before. And maybe she's someone else that can help. I'll take anything at this point. Let's go. Don't want to waste more time. We've had a lot of help. Sorry, Crystal, are you able to help preserve Xandria's body a little bit?
Mm-hmm. I can do that. That's fairly easy to do.
Owlbearer, does your path go the same way as ours?
He does this. And then nods. And you get... Basically says, I'll come with.
It's not going the way you're going.
He's too kind-hearted to fuck you off.
Ruby sort of like looks back the way they've come, and then turns back to Aura and says, "And will the nightmares follow us, or will they stay in the gardens?"
The gardeners will deal with the noise. But they do not tend the gardens of Puku. I know not what
So
lies before you.
The orbs up there are wild if they are there, then, is what you're saying.
He spends only 5 minutes staring at the ground. Yes.
Okay.
Owlbearer then signs. We take in Zandria.
Yes.
Dangerous.
Yes.
Points at himself. Signs. I'll protect.
Thank you.
Say, or I'll slurp in the last of the coconut drink.
Chilling over there.
Looks at the coconut, looks at you lot. Looks at the coconut, looks at you lot.
Well, if you're going the same way, Crystal, hopefully we can help you make your journey as well, as part of the thank you for helping Drea.
I would greatly appreciate it. It sounds like this place might be a little bit too much for me to handle on my own.
Do you know anything about this place?
Not any more than what you've just been told.
Your brief conversation with Oro before you were interrupted by, Waterboy, is
I
you-
didn't hear whether you said Waterboy or Warboy, but either one worked.
yes.
Water War Boy.
The curative elements within the tower are, fabled even here to be extremely powerful. Whether it's true or not, you don't know. But as far as Oro's concerned, Tahoro, the first echo, creates some powerful healing ailments within that tower. So
Have you come across the orbs yet, then, Miss Crystal?